Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Noah Wickham. I'm a brand director here at My Amazon Guy, and this is our Friday live Q&A podcast. I am excited today. Got a lot of energy going on. We are getting into a lot of different topics today that Amazon is releasing all sorts of new information. We don't have a ton of questions so far, but that's okay. We're going to dive into as much as possible, get to as many questions as possible. If you have anything, post it into the comments. For those of you who do not know, we are My Amazon Guy. We are a full service Amazon agency, and we do a podcast every single Friday, 12 Eastern, to answer any and all Amazon related questions. So let's dive right on in today, guys. Perfect first question: a bundle of fees update. Do you think Amazon will survive? So if you are not aware as to what he is talking about, let's get right into it. Let's dive in here. Here we go. So this is exactly what he is talking about. Amazon has released their new FBA low inventory level fees. This started on April 1st. It was announced back in December of last year. That being said, this month they are doing a little bit of a leeway with this. So what that means is that this is a tester month. They are going to get all of the low inventory level fees this month. And from there, they are going to then reimburse you for all of this month, which good for them. Starting in May 1st, however, it will be active forever. So how to kind of circumvent this? Do I think Amazon is going to survive? Yes. I do believe Amazon will survive. I don't think that this is going to have a major impact on whether or not Amazon is going to fall or crumble. It has a major impact on sellers, though. What are ways that we can look at circumventing this, right? How can we get around these new fees? And for reference, there's a few different places you can check. The best place to check here would be going to your FBA inventory dashboard, and there is a new inventory level here, so we can actually see whether it's low stock or not. So we can see our low inventory, what is low stock, what is going to get charged here, right? So we're on the Age of Sage account here today, and you can even see up above here, they have the low inventory level fees incurred between April 1st and April 30th will be credited back. So they are planning on crediting you for all of the fees this month, but starting May 1st is when it's going to be getting kind of bad. Some things that we are looking at doing. One, you should really know what your 90-day low inventory level is. If you know what that is and what you need to have on hand in stock, be sending that in now ahead of time. Typically speaking, I typically always say you want to have between 3 to 4 months of inventory within your warehouse at all times for FBA. That's going to be your best way. But even with that, with the new inventory placement fees that Amazon has done, you can see up here, they are also really pushing AWD for essentially trying to get more and more people to not send into FBA. And it's what ended up happening is, back a couple years back, they started buying up all these different warehouses everywhere for FBA when things were getting really hot. Now they have these warehouses just sitting around, and what are they doing? They're opening up AWD more. AWD is essentially Amazon's version of a 3PL, where you send in product, you get charged just for the product being in the warehouse, and then it's much easier to send that product directly from AWD to an FBA fulfillment center. So how is AWD going to help you? Well, as you can see here, AWD pricing covers FBA inventory placement services. So there's no separate fee for the inbound placement. So whether or not AWD is going to be the cure-all that people think it is, I'm not too sure myself just yet. I think it will really depend. The best way to kind of circumvent all this, it's going to probably be raise prices. It's what everyone has always done in the past when Amazon raises their fees is you raise prices, you try and circumvent the fees as much as you can. The person that all of these different changes really hurts at the end of the day for Amazon being such a customer-centric company is the end consumer at the end of the day. So I'll see how this plays out over time, I'll keep updating you guys every week if there's any news on this. But to answer the question, no, I think Amazon will be fine. Amazon will survive. This is not the first time they've done radical fee changes, but do I think this will stick around? I'm still hesitant. Wait and see. So I guess we'll see on that. Moving forward. Great question, by the way. Loved opening with that. That was wonderful. Let's see here. How to audit a brand before buying. Actually, one of my colleagues wants to buy a brand. Okay. So when you're buying a brand, there's a few things you want to look at. You want to look at current sales, historical sales, and what you're actually getting. Are you just buying a brand? Or are you buying the Amazon business as a whole? I always recommend personally just buying the whole business. That's going to be a lot easier than just buying a brand and then trying to change the brand over, accounts and everything. And you can do that when you actually own it a lot easier than you can outside of that. So you need to primarily be looking at historical sales. So is the brand, been around for a year? Has it been around 2 years, 3 years, so on and so forth? What are the historical sales? What are the profit margins? How much are the tacos? So if you're running a brand at 80% tacos, right? It can look great from an outside view, saying, "Oh yeah, this brand is doing $1 million a year in sales." But if $800,000 of that $1 million a year is just from advertising, that's not something that usually would sit well with me. At the end of the day, we don't deal too much here at My Amazon Guy with people buying brands. But that being said, the biggest thing is going to be looking at your profit margins. It's going to be looking at the historical sales. Does it make sense? Look at how much advertising is affecting the sales. So look at your tacos historically as well. And then also verify your supply chain at the end of the day. That's a big thing I feel like a lot of people don't look at with brands. They always try and focus on the numbers, but don't really worry too much about the relationship or the supply chain that you're technically buying as well. So focus there primarily, and I think you'll be good to go. If you have any other questions, though, you can always reach out to us, podcast@myamazonguy.com. If you want to have somebody at Amazon or My Amazon Guy actually review as well, one thing you can do is you can go over to the myamazonguy.com website. If you go to coaching, you can book a coaching call with myself or anyone else on this screen, and we will go through and assist you with just reviewing the brand that you're looking at buying, let you know what our thoughts on it, and help you out one-on-one. Perfect. All right. We have Jeff. How's it going, Jeff? Have you used or had success with A+ complementary product modules? Yes. So I think that they're great. Typically speaking, it's what's the best way to put this? So A+ complementary modules are going to be really, really good for you if you have a brand that is kind of working in tandem with different products. And what I mean by that is, let's say you have a tumbler brand, right? Such as the one that Steven had. So if you have a tumbler brand, it makes a lot of sense to then put your cups or your cup holder there, or potentially, let's say a sticker of some kind. Those would be complementary products that, if those are your other products in your brand line, makes a lot of sense to put there. Whether or not I think that's, better for selling than just having, necessarily your other products, I'm not really sure on that at the end of the day. Personally, I think that you always should just kind of push for whatever you're going to get the most profit margin of, but definitely not a bad idea to do it if you have, for instance, a low volume item, putting that as a complementary product to one of your very high volume items. You can do this through the A+. You can do this through bundling, virtual bundles, lots of different ways to do it. But definitely, yes, if it's something you're looking at adding to your catalog, just make sure the relevancy of the complementary products actually makes sense at the end of the day. Okay. Hello, can you suggest the best option for automated Amazon review service? There's a million of them out there. Personally, we don't usually even recommend it. I know Steven hates them. He doesn't think that they're really worth it at the end of the day. Internally, we use Merchant Spring for a lot of our clients. Helium 10 has a great service as well. The reality is they're a dime a dozen. There's not really a best one out there. Helium's is probably the most recognizable. There's like Sage Mailer as well, which if you have, outside of just Amazon sales, Sage Mailer is really good. But yeah, just go through one of those. At the end of the day, whatever one is at the top of the list when you Google it will probably be the best one for you. They're all exactly the same. Amazon has very strict policy on what you can and cannot push forward when it comes to a review and ask the client and customer. And so pretty much every single review software for FBA is going to look the exact same to the end consumer. Awesome. Get a little sip of my tea here. Gotta make sure I'm nice and hydrated. Your voice gets very, very dry, or your throat gets very dry when you're going through these lives. So I know, how's it going, sir? What is the fastest way to check all of our indexing and keyword ranking? Fastest way is going to be to use Helium 10. So Helium 10, you want to just look at your product and check all of your indexing ranking using that. There are other ways to do it. You can even do it via Amazon's backend, right? Technically speaking, but using Helium 10 is going to be the fastest by far. It's not even slightly. I might actually, let me see if I can log into Helium here and demo it. But yes, use Helium at the end of the day. If you guys are looking for Helium as well and trying to get it, you can head on over to myamazonguy.com's website. We have a third-party recommendations list. If you click that, you should get a discount on your Helium 10. So if you go to Helium 10 and go directly to, let me share my screen here. If you go to the keyword tracker here on Helium 10, you can track the product rank for all of your keywords. So this is where I would go. You can also, at the end of the day, use Magnet for some keyword research. I would highly advise this. But if you do not have Helium 10 and you are doing anything SEO related on your products, I highly advise that you get it. It will be making your life a million times easier. Everyone thinks that they know their product and where they should be putting relevant keywords until they actually look at it. So hope that helps. Moving on. Amazon SEO techniques are same for international market. Yes. Doesn't matter where you are. It's going to be the exact same. Same thing as the previous question that I just answered. We are going to have the keyword tracker at the end of the day. Is going to be the best. It's, you're still going to be doing the exact same thing. You want to find the keywords that are ranking well for your product. What you want to try and target and index on, make sure they are relevant, will be the exact same. There will be minor differences in different markets depending on, for instance, in the UK, if you have color, you may want to do color, but with a U rather than O. So minor differences there, just depending on the language barrier and how the keywords will be spelled out. But past that, that's what you want to look at is, yes, SEO, same US everywhere else. Okay, Brandon. Hi, for generic keyword stuff today, guys. For the generic keyword input fields on the back end of all listings, what are the best practices for quantity of keywords in each input field? I see them now able to add keywords for 5 input fields. Yes. Okay, Brandon. So we're going to dive into a couple of things here with this. The first one being is the 5 different fields. You may or may not be losing that here shortly. The reason I say this is because Amazon about 2 months ago released the ability for people to add those 5 different fields, and they could do 500 characters in each. This was allowing people to have up to 2,500 characters worth of keywords on the back end. Amazon very quickly, about 3 weeks later, rolled that back entirely. So you no longer can do that on a lot of accounts. They have been slowly rolling it back across the board. So first and foremost, the normal amount that you can put onto any one of those fields is 250 bytes. They don't use characters for it. They use bytes for some reason, but nonetheless, 250 bytes per each one of those fields right now. You may still technically have the 500 enabled, but I would not rely super heavily on that. Make sure your most important ones are within that 250. And then anything past that, if you have access still, make sure that you are only adding things that are going to supplement and are not going to be your primary. So hope that helps. To answer your second question, always use the max amount of keywords you can. There's nothing bad to using more and more keywords. At the end of the day, the more keywords you have, the better it is. Nabio. Can we use two primary Amazon accounts on the same laptop and same Wi-Fi? Because me and my friend study in the same college and his laptop is broken. Okay, so Amazon has changed their policy on this a million different times. I'm not entirely positive what the exact policy is now. I'll have to look into that for you. But that being said, to my knowledge, the current policy is that no, you cannot use it on the same computer. That being said, you can, however, have multiple Amazon accounts now. So what I would advise you to do is to, one, let them know different Amazon accounts first and foremost. That's always going to be super helpful. You should be able to have approval there. Just make sure that they know that. I typically don't like having the same thing. Some steps you can take here is on each one of those accounts, add a secondary user account and only ever log into the secondary user account. I advise this for pretty much everyone I can. The reason there is because that secondary user is not going to cause an account linkage like the primary ownership user would. So I would highly advise you add a secondary user on there. That will help you immensely in this situation. But secondly, I would also advise that you guys try not to use the same exact computer. That's usually a little bit of a no-no and could cause a linkage. It'll be pretty easy for you if you do have a linkage to show, hey, two different people, two different accounts, everything. Make sure you guys are not selling the same product on two different accounts. That's very, very easily an account linkage issue, and you will definitely get suspended there. So hope that helps, but secondary user is going to be your best friend here. Okay. Please tell me how to grow a new product. This is a very broad question, but I'm never really all that opposed to broad questions. So there's a few different ways to go about this, but the first and foremost way is going to be your pricing strategy. So when you have a new product on Amazon, it is called the honeymoon phase. You want to take as much advantage of this honeymoon phase as possible. First and foremost, you need to worry about your pricing. The suggested pricing strategy for launch at My Amazon Guy is do 50% of what you want your standard list price to be at launch. You're going to have this be an 8-week cycle. And I can actually pull up the actual graphic here in a second. But you want to have this be an 8-week cycle. And every single week, you're going to go up by about 5 to 10% on the product price. What this helps you with is, one, you'll probably be much lower than most of your competitors at the start here with pricing if you're 50% lower than what you want your standard list price to be. And then two, this is going to help you get as many reviews in the first 8 weeks as possible. So you're going to be getting sales, you're going to be getting reviews. It's going to help you a ton. Now, depending on the product, you can also look at enrolling in Vine. If you're going to do Vine, I usually say it's better to go big than hardly at all. So enroll 30 units, the max amount that you can, if possible. That's going to help you get as many reviews as possible. Now, if you're a consumable product, I would not advise you do Vine at all. This is usually only for consumer goods, something non-technical, something, a great example would be a beach volleyball. There you go. If you have a beach volleyball, Vine is going to be great for you. If you have a bag of chips, Vine will be awful for you. So follow those two first and foremost. And then thirdly, for your advertising strategy, you want to make sure that you are correctly advertising. Do keyword research on your competitors. Set up a competitor campaign targeting product pages. set up an exact campaign. You want to be targeting top of search. You want to also set up a gold painting campaign, which we have on our YouTube channel, My Amazon Guy, where you can look and see how to set one of those up. That's going to help you with several different keyword researches for this as well. You want to also set up a brand new auto campaign. So all of those are things that I would probably start with. You can look at phrase and broad as well, but if you are not too sure on those, I wouldn't really look at it. So those are kind of the primary things you need to be focusing on right now. The biggest thing as well, make sure you have good designs, good graphics. If you do not, you won't convert. I've seen it so many times that people waste their entire honeymoon period because they launch with manufacturer photos of the product. Their graphics and listing look awful. And guess what? The product does, flops in the first 8 weeks because it just doesn't look good. If your listing doesn't look good, your product doesn't look good, it's not going to convert. And conversion is everything when it comes to telling Amazon whether or not this is going to be a good product long term. So hopefully that helps. We also have tons of different resources on our website and on our YouTube channel. Feel free to check them out. Jeff's back again. Amazon doesn't guarantee placement for complimentary. How do you pick the product you feature? Okay. So this is, if you're talking specifically, Jeff, on the complimentary products for the newest complimentary feature down there, you're not going to be able to pick your products for that. If you're talking about your premium A+ content, you can pick your products for that. But if you're talking about the little module there where it will show, essentially 2 products bundled together, you're not going to be able to. So that's going to be based entirely on Amazon at the end of the day and is not something within your control, unfortunately. But again, for the actual using complementary products in your premium A+, absolutely. Go with that. That will help you a ton. Mark, what's your take on conversion rate optimization for the listing and broad PPC targeting? Broad PPC campaigns probably best will result in worst. Okay, so take on conversion rate optimization. So just so I'm clear here, Mark, what kind of sounds like you're asking is if broad campaigns have any, aspect on conversion rate, which yes. So conversion rate optimization, and let's just kind of dive into conversion rate first and foremost. Conversion rate is essentially how many people have clicked on your product versus purchased it, right? So whoever purchases your product, divide that number by your clicks. There you go. You have your conversion rate. Now, what does conversion rate really tell us? It really tells us more about the actual listing of the product than anything. The number one factor to conversion rate more than anything is your price. Price is by and far the biggest factor to conversion rate. You can have the crappiest product in the world, crappiest listing, crappiest everything. I realize I said this for a new product, so take this how you will, but price matters way more at the end of the day. That's part of the reason our launch strategy for pricing is at 50%, right? Because that will help our conversion so much. When you're talking about broad PPC targeting specifically for conversion rate, I think it's really good. I don't go too hard on it. However, if it's a newer product, more established product, absolutely. But broad PPC targeting, make sure that when you are doing it, you're only really focusing on actual broad targets. I see far too often people essentially take a broad campaign and create what should be an exact campaign with their targeting. And from that standpoint, you're basically just double dipping, right? There's no point to it. So does it help with conversion rate? Absolutely. You are getting more targets from an area that you typically would not with just a standard exact campaign or phrase campaign, right? So typically speaking, it's only going to be really good if you are looking at trying to expand your reach of your product, not so much really something to focus for conversion and improving conversion, right? Because we're looking at a broader subject and a broader area. So hopefully that kind of answers the question and kind of helps, but I don't think that will really result in necessarily a worse conversion rate, right? It's not so much that it's going to be a worse conversion rate. And I would probably look at the campaign as a whole versus your whole catalog, right? Because an exact campaign, If you're targeting your number one top keyword, it's going to have probably a better conversion rate than a broad campaign 9 times out of 10. That's just how it works, right? So definitely can be a little bit lower, but hope that helps. How to Dell a campaign. I'm not too sure on the question here, Kron. If you can kind of reword it, we might be able to answer. I think maybe you're asking how to set up a campaign, which we can go through real quick. I'll just open up Campaign Manager for you guys just so you can get understanding. So, real quick, just to show you, if you come into your Amazon advertising, a little button here, create campaign. And of course, Amazon ads is going to choose now to go down. So you would typically do create a campaign. From there, you're going to click something along the lines of sponsored product. If you have a brand, you can do sponsored brand or sponsored display as well. But typically, you're going to 9 times out of 10 do sponsored products. You can see we have a ton of just test campaigns here as well. And what you'll do with the sponsored product campaign, you'll typically want to start off with like an exact campaign. Put in the keywords. You can do auto targeting or manual. Depends on if you've done your keyword research, right? So focus on that. But if you have a better way to ask the question, let us know. Ehab, any thoughts on two-step ranking URLs? Are they effective? Yeah, I would say so. I don't have a ton of thoughts on them, I guess. The reality being, yes, I think that they are effective. Whether or not it's something that people need to be using widely, I don't think so. It's going to be pretty niche when you're typically going to make use of them. But if you think you have the ability to, go ahead. It's not a bad idea at the end of the day. Pete. Hey, Pete. Please help me. I just reattached my 2 variations back with a parent using flat file they went through, however, and it made my BSR skyrocket 20-fold. And now the parent says incomplete with error code 99027. This SKU has inconsistent product classification with the ASIN. Please submit a feed to update this SKU to match the ASIN product classification. I don't know if I know 99027. Let me look here, Pete. However, typically speaking, if your, let's see here. So value specified for the SKU parent field cannot be the same value as the SKU child field to correct this. Oh, okay. So Pete, here's your issue for the 99027. First and foremost, you create your parent incorrectly. So here's what you got to do. You have to go through one, you got to unparent this. So flat file again, unparent it, break the parentage entirely, get rid of the parent product. This is an issue that I see all the time where people use the same SKU classification or even UPC classification on parent, both of which you don't need. Just do parent child for the SKU classification. Secondly, from there, when it comes to, let's see, your BSR, this was your kind of first point here. The BSR issue, that's probably because you have the parent technically hiddenly suppressed, and that's due to the incomplete error code. So when you're facing this issue, do a few things. One, unparent. You're not obviously helping your product with the parentage right now until you actually fix it and create the parentage correctly, which you need to break the parentage, do a delete relist again, and then re-upload with the new parentage. Secondly, you need to verify and make sure that you are in the correct category. I've seen so often that people will create a parentage, the parent somehow gets put into a category, and boom, that somehow affects the child, right? So it's very common at the end of the day. But your first and foremost thing here is you need to break that parentage, delete relist, redo the parentage. That'll help you a ton here. It really sucks when we lose BSR, but as long as it's not too long of a period in which you're losing it, you should be somewhat okay. This also can happen if you had one of the child ASINs be kind of the primary there with the parentage, and that one had a very, very low BSR. I've seen sometimes where somehow they cannibalize, and that's a big issue when you get down to it. So focus there first and foremost. And if you have further questions, feel free to reach out to us. More than happy to help you on this, Pete. Let's see, Jeff again. Hello, sir. Are you still a fan of using keywords to index A+ image alt text? Absolutely. You should use alt text. I mean, if I just go to Amazon right now, I love doing this. If you do not have it on your Chrome or anything, there are a million different little tabs or anything where you can just get alt text on everything. Absolutely put your alt text in for everything you can in the A+. You can see here we have alt text on everything on the Age of Sage. Alt text, at the end of the day, it helps with ranking, helps with indexing. So absolutely, absolutely put alt text on everything you can. There's no reason to not do it. And when it comes to keywords, you always want to put any text you can, client facing or customer facing, but also on the back end. If there is a space for you to put in keywords or some form of information for your product, put it in. There is nothing that will hurt you there unless you're doing something that is obviously a prohibited keyword on Amazon. Outside of that, absolutely make use of them. Amazon VA has no future unless you become a master of PPC. What is your opinion? I don't think that's true. We have roughly 300 plus employees who are Amazon specialists, designers, PPC specialists as well, project managers, right? So I absolutely not. There is a million different things to do on Amazon more than PPC. Yes, is PPC the most common thing that people are doing? Yeah. But you can absolutely be an Amazon specialist, learn how to troubleshoot different issues on the Amazon marketplace. So is a product listing yanked? Cool. You probably don't know how to handle that, but somebody might be able to. So there's a million different things that you can do if you're wanting to be a VA or just anything in Amazon, right? If you're not going to be a brand owner, definitely something to do. And, on that note as well, one thing, if you are looking to become, some form of job or some form of Amazon specialist, designer, or anything like that, something I would highly advise you do is come directly to the My Amazon Guy website. We have job openings for remote and international. If you are a VA, currently, if you are working in Amazon, or even if you don't have any Amazon knowledge whatsoever, we've got all sorts of jobs. We have, advertising auditors, interns. We take interns for pretty much any role. You don't have to have any experience. We'll teach you everything you know or can know, as well as, U.S. jobs for directors like myself, brand managers, so on and so forth. So tons of different roles out there when it comes to Amazon. Tons of things you can always learn and focus on. Milan, how to get qualified for Premium A+. This is just a sales thing, Milan. You just got to be large enough for Premium A+. Right now, I think Amazon did change some of their qualifications around it. But for the most part, it's just going to be a sales thing. You need to, one, be brand registered. That's first and foremost, but you need that for regular A+. But on top of that, it's just going to be to get sales. It's simple as that at the end of the day. You can also request it via the case log. I've seen that sometimes work for really low sellers, but mostly that's just what it is. I have a VA that sources OA products for me. How can I start them to source wholesale products? Is there a place I can get a lot of wholesale supplier lists so they can go through them? How would you do it? I've worked with a lot of wholesale in the past. A lot wholesale. Right now, I know that Steven's account, the Age of Sage account, is turning into a wholesale arbitrage account. So what I would typically say for this is, one, best place to do it is to build direct brand relationships more than anything. If there is a brand you want to sell, a brand you know about, reach out to them, try and figure it out. That being said, you're not going to get Nike if you have no sales and you have no system in place or anything like that. So focus on small brands right now. Focus on wholesale pallets. Past that, you can look at I know there's some websites out there. They're really good for this kind of thing, like Inventory Source. It's one that a lot of people in the past I've worked with have used. It has a billion different, sellers of different products. You can look at stuff like Doba, I believe, is out there as well. So a lot of different websites that have products. The biggest thing is all of those are going to come with a lot of competition. Best place you're going to find is, do some wholesale pallets if you can. Find different, auction sites. That will be a good place to do it as well, and go from there. So hopefully that helps. All right, let's see here. Simon, create new SKU on SKU on ASIN. Okay. For small design update. Sent FBA new SKU with future release date. Amazon received new SKU, but mingled them with old SKU. Both SKUs now show same inventory. Where'd I get wrong? You merged your listing on accident. So, Simon, this is it's actually kind of funny because people usually have a very hard time with merging listings, and somehow you have managed to do it on your own without or on accident, I should say. So, if you are looking specifically for doing like FBM versus FBA, right? Or if it's just a brand new SKU in general, you should have done a new ASIN is what I would recommend to you. And then you should have merged those ASINs. So what I would probably do if I were in your shoes right now is one, you can try and unmerge them. We have a few different resources here on my Amazon Guys YouTube channel to kind of talk about that, but it's a little tricky for someone, even if you accidentally already merged them. But two, I would probably look at just creating a new ASIN entirely, focus on that ASIN for the new SKU, and then from there, get everything prepared on that new one, and then look at merging them. At that point in time, it won't really matter. The biggest thing is going to be you want to have that inventory in beforehand. You're also probably going to have to get your old inventory like relabeled for the new ASIN and all that as well. So just make sure you know about that. Innovative House. Good to see you again. We have an old discontinued listing with over 100 reviews. This product was discontinued 2 years ago, but we're thinking of bringing it back. Is it worth reviving an old listing or creating new? Oh, I love this one. Okay, so one thing when it comes to reviving a dead product. So we have on our site, we actually have for Mag School, if you don't know, an entire course specifically on reviving dead products. So that is one thing I would absolutely look into. If you have never been, this is Mag School. We offer a ton of different courses for people to buy and go through, showing different things. You can always look at this. I would absolutely look at our reviving sales on Amazon course. It's super intuitive for this kind of stuff. It's something you can absolutely do. But yeah, the biggest thing I'll say here is 100 reviews really is not that many at the end of the day. It definitely will help you. It's still going to be a challenge. The reason it's going to be a challenge is because that product has been essentially, dormant, right? So you're looking at a product that has super high BSR. What you want to do here is essentially try and revive it. And the best way to go about that is going to be to, pretty it up, get the actual advertising back in order. And you can also look at things such as merging with a new product, putting it on a brand new variation, right? Doing all of those together, that'll help you a ton. So definitely check out, first and foremost, our reviving a dead product. I think Steven also has like 5 videos on this. It's one of his favorite topics to discuss at the end of the day. So yeah, absolutely. But is it worth it at the end of the day? Yeah, you can try it. There's no harm in doing both a new listing and trying to revive it. In fact, doing that is one of the techniques for reviving a dead listing. So I would probably suggest that. And then from there, you should be good to go. Jacob, how's it going? What's your opinion on different bid corridors? For example, having a low bid auto campaign with a 15-cent USD bid and one with 40 cents for the same product. I guess it's fine. I'm not too positive. If you're talking about an auto campaign, it depends. If you're having, 2 different auto campaigns, they're targeting the exact same thing. Like if they're both close match, but you have one auto campaign that's 15 cents and then another auto campaign that's 40 cents. All you're doing there is spending 40 cents. The one that's the higher cost will probably do better at the end, or do more, I should say, at the end of the day, just because it is what it is. But if you're talking specifically on, putting into different corridors, how you do your advertising, I always suggest it. It's one of the best practices you can have when it comes to advertising, just because you want to essentially have a area that makes the most sense. You're never going to just have an ad that randomly someday, unless somebody else comes in and starts advertising on it, shoot up, to the moon. So you should always have kind of a top threshold, bottom threshold. A lot of that just has to do with your ACoS goals and what you're looking for there. But mostly, just make sure that you're not double targeting as well, like I was saying, when you're doing different bid corridors and different campaigns. Okay. Hi, I try and add a variation to a parent. When I use the ASIN as product ID, it gets me the error 8541. If I use the UPC as product ID, it goes through. Is that okay to use UPC instead of ASIN? Thanks. Yeah, you definitely can upload via flat file using your UPC instead of your ASIN. You can run into some issues there if you end up getting matching UPCs of any kind. For 8541, you guys are hitting me with the error codes today that I'm not familiar with. There's hundreds of error codes on Amazon. So let's see. Single matching error occurs when product ID, such as UPC, corresponds to the product ID of an existing ASIN. That means we found similar product names on catalog. Oh, okay. So this to me is very similar to the issue that we were having earlier, where he was asking about the UPC and the parentage. So what I would kind of suggest here, first and foremost, is you need to verify where's your UPC. Are you getting that like direct GS1? Are you having a parentage issue here? You more than likely have used that UPC on a different parentage or a different product. You can't use the same UPC on two different products. That's just not how that works, because products have to be different. If you are trying to use the UPC that's already attached to one ASIN, remove it from the other ASIN if you're adding the one that is correct, and then re-upload that flat file with the correct UPCs for both of those ASINs. At the end of the day, that's going to be the only thing you really can do here. You can just upload via UPC, but if it gets attached to an ASIN that is incorrect, you're going to have a world of hurt ahead of you, because it is a real nightmare, real pain in the butt trying to get UPCs and barcodes changed. So hope that helps. Micah, if you change too many attributes at once on a product listing, it can have a negative impact on your rankings. It can if you're changing them incorrectly. The attributes themselves need to be, indexed, right? So if depends on what attribute we're talking about here. So are we talking about the color attribute? Yeah, that's, direct impact to your ranking and, what your product actually is, right? If you're talking about, product, it can, just from the aspect of, you might have higher fulfillment fees, for instance, if you're, so it really depends what attributes you're talking about here, Michael. By and large, though, you're not going to see that big of a difference. Really depends, right? If you're changing everything all at the same time, and it's, you're changing even your bullets, description, title, and you're getting rid of all your keywords and whatnot all at the same time, you can see an impact. But as long as you stick with and make sure you are already indexed where you need to, and you're not doing any sweeping changes that will like change your category or anything, you should be fine at the end of the day. Jacob again. What do you think about alt text in a main image? Go ahead. I think I've answered this already, actually, from someone else, but alt text, by and large, if you are going to be doing alt text on Amazon, do it. There is nothing that should stop you from doing alt text. Alt text is just another way for us to rank and index with keywords on our listing. You should have it anywhere that you can, including your images, including your A+ content. This will show up not visible to the end consumer without an extension, but it will help you index for more keywords on your products. Absolutely put alt text on everything you can. I sell supplements. and I'm newer, like 20 reviews, 4 to, about 5 stars. Cool. I had 45 orders, 368 abandoned carts last week, according to Brand Analytics. Is that really bad? No. You're gonna have a million abandoned carts. So there's actually a cool little feature that once you start to get uh, more and more sales, you'll get access to what is called, and let me pull it up, brand tailored promotions. So brand tailored promotions, once you have more sales, you get access to this, is a way to push promotions for things such as brand cart abandoners in the last 90 days. So uh, it's something that's really useful for things exactly like this, John. That being said, to circumvent this, you want to be looking at your brand analytics and you want to start to try and understand why is it that people are abandoning the cart. Reality is there are a lot of window shoppers at the end of the day. You want to not really focus so much on brand cart abandon when you're right now. You want to focus on your conversion rate. What is making people not convert? Is it your main image? Is it your price? Price is a huge factor in conversion, remember? So focus there first and foremost, and have fun with it. The brand cart abandoners, it's going to be always something. People are not going to purchase 100% of the time. I've never seen a 100% conversion rate on Amazon, and I don't think I ever will. So don't feel bad about it. Let's see here. Let's take a little second here. Give me some more tea. Your throat just gets so dry during these. Okay. Tim. Hello there. I need help with advertising on Google Shop. Is this done through Amazon? Google AdWords does not let me add the tag to advertise with it. Any help is greatly appreciated. No, you can't advertise Google Shop via Amazon. That's not something you can do. You absolutely have to do that via Google Shop. You have to sign up for Google Shop. This is not a service that we typically offer to people, but if you do reach out to us, this might be something that we could probably help with at the end of the day. We do have some clients that we do a lot of Google stuff with, and something we're looking into. So reach out to us, Tim. Happy to help you here and help you get set up. You can reach out, whether it's podcastmyamazonguy.com or even just salesmyamazonguy.com, either one. And we can try and see what we can do to help you out here. On top of that, Google Shop and Amazon are two completely different marketplace platforms. So, okay, catching up. I'm almost at the end of questions. If real quick, if you guys are watching on Instagram, which I believe this might be our first, if not second time doing this on Instagram, go ahead and leave your comments on YouTube. We don't currently have the integration to be able to answer the comments or questions on Instagram. So come to the YouTube, leave your comments here, and we'll get through them. So, okay, sorry about that, Pro Hall. Can I upload images with different languages for the US market? Yeah, you can. There's nothing stopping you from uploading different languages on the US. I don't know why you would. You can upload Spanish. It's probably the most common one if that's the one you're curious on. I do see very frequently we have Spanish, different listings, but by and large, I would still probably focus on English at the end of the day in the US market. But if your product is very, very, very oriented towards the Spanish community, I can understand why you would upload it in Spanish. So nothing really stopping you there, though. In your opinion, what is the most effective PPC type regarding ACOS? So typically speaking, your most effective ACOS PPC will probably be an auto campaign. It just will be. Like an auto catch-all is going to always just be best. Secondarily to that is probably actually this one might even be better now that I think about it, but a self-targeting campaign. Depending on what your product is. Sometimes self-targeting campaigns are extremely hurtful to ACOS, but that's just if you're in a very, very competitive niche. But self-targeting campaign will probably be the lowest ACOS. And what that means is you're literally just targeting your own products. It's what's considered a defensive campaign you're essentially trying to make sure that when on Amazon, and we'll just head over to Amazon real quick to give you a little bit of a demonstration here. On Amazon, you'll see product page ads like this. When you are doing self-targeting, you are doing something like this, where essentially, oh, well, no, actually, this is the ad. So essentially, when you're doing self-targeting, you're trying to take these two ad spots with your product page advertising. These type of ad spots at the end of the day are what is considered, self-targeting if you're doing them, and the point is to make it so, soft soap and Loctane cannot advertise in those positions. So that usually is going to be your lowest, depending on competition at the end of the day. But past that as well, really just depends. What are you hitting? Are you hitting your phrases correctly? Are you hitting your exacts correctly? Keywords matter the most at the end of the day. If you have, for instance, a supplement keywords are expensive. I have seen keywords that have gone up to $30+ before per click. But if it makes sense, it makes sense. So you can have an 80% ACoS as long as your tacos stays consistent and it makes sense for your profit margin. So hope that helps. Oh, Brian again. Tim again. Thanks. Just noticed one of my main competitors advertising on Google and the listing takes you directly to the listing. Oh, Tim, so what you're looking at there is technically like attribution. So on Amazon, products or on Google, products will populate. So if you type in, for instance, the brand name of product, and let me see if I can pull up an example while I'm talking about this. If you type in the brand name of product, you might actually get the product to come up on Google. And when that happens, you can typically click on it. It'll be an Amazon link. So Amazon links will now rank on Google Shopping. So if I just go to Google Shopping here, yep. So perfect example. Here we go. So these are all sponsored. These are all links at the end of the day. So this is specifically targeting for outside. So this is your outside Amazon brand targeting. This is not Google Shopping. So it says Google Shopping, but it is not. So this, Tim, if this is what you're talking about, for doing this type of targeting, this is what is going to be an outside Amazon targeting. So we're not targeting specifically, the keywords, or sorry, this is not sponsored product targeting, and this is not keyword targeting. So this is going to be for brand owners only. And the best way to get this is probably going to be going through a different service, to be honest. It's not something that I'm going to typically recommend for the average person to just try on their own. But, if you still have more questions on it, I'm happy to kind of walk you through it even if you wanted to. So if I have a high traffic keyword I want to rank for with limited budget, yes, I know this is a loaded question. Of course it is. But what would you say is the most cost-effective way to rank? Phrase, product, exact, etc. Okay. So first and foremost, you need to make sure that you actually have the product everywhere you can on your listing. Ranking on the actual listing is far, far, far more important than the advertising you do against it. Relevancy is the number one attribute when it comes to ranking. If your keyword is not relevant to your product, you will find that out. You can spend all the ad dollars in the world, and it will not matter if you are not relevant. So how do you actually go about doing it? The biggest thing here is focus on an exact campaign. First and foremost, Tim, that's going to be your most helpful when it comes to doing something like this. Past that as well, you want to essentially set up for your listing. So again, make sure your keyword is in your title. You want to make sure it's in your bullets. You want to make sure you're indexing for the keyword. Relevancy is the biggest thing here, but second to that is the advertising. Focus on an exact campaign for that keyword. Focus all of your search terms around that keyword as well. That's going to help you essentially kind of broaden that a little bit with your targeting. So that's going to be best path forward here for that. And, limited budget. If your budget's limited, SEO is going to be more important to you than advertising at the end of the day. And that is the last of my tea. I'm just stuck to water now, guys. All right. Let's see here. Pete again. When I submit flat file to parent back children, I get error saying the value specified for the null FSR10 field cannot be the same as the value for the null FSR10 field. Correct this error. Resubmit your data with a different value in one of these fields. Note, the FSR10 IV only put in one column, seller skew. Yeah, so Pete, you're having this issue again. So this kind of goes back to what we were previously talking about, right? Where you need to do a delete and relist here before you do anything with the flat files. The reason for that is because you are attributing a parent and a child to the same exact situation, right? So if you're doing that, you're going to have this issue where they're going to continue thinking that you are doing the exact same thing and you can't technically submit it. So you need to do a delete relist before you focus on that parentage break, it sounds like. Past that as well, if you're still having issues with it, you can always contact support and have them do the parentage break for you. On the back end, that usually does work pretty well. It'll take a little much because seller support kind of sucks, as we all know. But yeah, focus on that. Do a delete relist and then do your parentage break upload and then fix it with the brand new upload. So try that, Pete. If you have any questions, let us know. Happy to help you out. Guillermo, I recently bought the SOP list. It looks like some of the explanation is just what Amazon provides or explained differently. Can you talk a little more on how or what is the best way to utilize it? Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, I'm going to use this moment. Sorry to do a little bit of a plug here. For those of you who do not know, we sell all of our SOPs. If it's something that you're interested in, you can go to myamazonguy.com/Amazon-SOP-library. Check them out here. We have over 500 SOPs. It covers a variety of topics. It's all the same SOPs that we use internally as well. I believe right now we have them for lifetime access 2,500. You can get subscription service for 1,000. If you're interested, go check them out. We will update all of them in real time as we also update them internally. To kind of answer your question there, Guillermo, so talk a little bit on how and what's the best way to utilize them. It's not type of thing where it's not course, right? So we're not going to be doing them where you just go and read through top bottom for our SOP library. You need to search for the specific topic that you are wanting to learn about, such as any SOP at the end of the day. If you want a course, you should go to magschools.com, check out our courses there. But for the SOP library, if you have a specific topic in mind, if you are looking to know how to set up a, let's say, gold panning campaign, right? We have an SOP for that. If you want to learn how to enroll in FSA or HSA, we have an SOP on that as well. So our SOP library is focused around like primary topics. It's what you build an SOP about rather than, just like learning Amazon. So if you do have specific questions, Guillermo, about what is in there and like how to utilize it best, absolutely reach out to us. We're more than happy to work with you on it. And kind of give you some pointers as pointing you into the right direction of utilizing it. So hope that helps. That's Pete's other question. Pro Hall, I didn't ask correctly. Oh no, I want to upload images, I think, according to the end consumer default language. My Cuban wife Amazon account displays only Spanish text. Oh, so here's the thing, Pro Hall, that I believe if you're uploading in the US market, it sounds more like you need to just change what your browser is showing more than anything. It doesn't sound like you're actually uploading in Spanish. It sounds like your browser is auto translating for you, which I would check that. That being said, so the end consumer default language, so Amazon doesn't have just like an auto translate feature. You can get one, they will do translation services for you, but that's where I'm a little confused right now because it's not supposed to auto translate to end consumer. That's not really usually how it works. Even if you go to, so for instance, what I can do here is I can take, I'll share my screen, share this tab. You can take something like this, and this is going to be a 50-50 on whether or not this works, because I'm not sure if we've actually done this on that. Yeah, so we don't have this product on here, but if I were to go to like the Mexico marketplace, you can see that yes, all of this is the same, but more than likely on the actual listing, it would still be in whatever language. So that only changes with us doing the auto translate to the Mexican marketplace. If you're on the US marketplace, it absolutely should be English. And if it's not, then that sounds like you have a translation tool in place somewhere. Loving the content. Thank you, sir. Very happy to see you here. I'm glad you get to come every single week and everything. We should connect sometime soon here and whatnot. Love seeing your content on LinkedIn. O'Dall, what's the average bid you invest for each keyword? That depends on the keyword. Again, some keywords cost per click is $30. Some keywords cost per click is a cent, right? So what's the keyword, right? What is the average bid on Amazon or suggested bid on Amazon? It's not something that you can just say. Supplements, average that I see is usually like between $5 and $7. If it's, diapers, I don't even know off the top of my head. But point being is that average bid depends on the keyword. What do you recommend for those who are just using Shopify? So, it depends. If you're looking for, SEO services or anything like that, reach out to us. We might be able to help you out, at the end of the day. But I also always look, if you want to get into Amazon and you're only currently doing Shopify, do FBA. That'll be your easiest route forward. And then even you could put your inventory in FBA and then do multi-channel fulfillment for your Shopify store. But definitely look at doing Amazon if you're not already. I kind of recommend everyone do as many marketplaces as you can, just because you might only get 1-2 sales, but cool, it's 1-2 sales you wouldn't have gotten otherwise, right? So try it out. I lied about the tea, guys. I had a little bit left. Pete, thanks a lot. No, one last thing. Could it have driven my BSR up because I'm adding with North America flat file, not just US thought? No. No, so that's not doesn't matter if you do it just in the US versus it technically yes, Pete. But that's just has to do with remote fulfillment. That shouldn't technically drive your BSR up in one or the other. So I wouldn't worry too much on that. It definitely is your other issues that are causing that BSR to jump up. Jacob, how do you track which keyword you already used in what kind of campaign type? So I'm not too sure if I'm understanding here, Jacob, but let me try and show you an example here. And I'm just going to do a little walkthrough on some advertising. So if you're looking at like what you're trying to figure out for, keywords, let's look at this. So this is an exact campaign for some keywords here. If you click into your ad group, you should have, this is what you're actually trying to advertise against, these products. Then you have your targeting. It's where you should have some keywords. So you can look at your keywords here, look at what you have in here, and then as well, you should have some search terms. We don't have any in this one because I think this is just not a super useful campaign. But regardless, search terms will be essentially what you upload and what is being searched against for your keywords and your targets. And then same thing for negative targeting. You can have negative keywords. I always suggest do negative exact. That's just going to help you a lot more unless you're doing phrase, of course. But that being said, yeah, I hope this answers your question. But keywords are here for what you're currently doing. You have to upload your keywords yourself unless it's an auto campaign. If it's an auto campaign, let me see real quick here if I can just do auto. I'll find one for you. Here. Let's do this. I think this is going to be a substitutes campaign, but we might still be able to. Yeah, so it's just substitutes auto campaign. So yeah, it doesn't have any search terms in it. So yeah, that's going to be your biggest thing, Jacob. Just check your campaigns. Hope that helps. All right, we got a couple questions left here, guys, and then we might be wrapping up. Any tricks to change a brand name other than flat file and using the batch ID in a support case? Yeah, brand name change sucks. It sucks really bad. What I would typically suggest for brand name changes, first and foremost, you need to be working with brand registry only. They're going to tell you to work with seller support. Then seller support's going to tell you to work with brand registry. Just work with brand registry. Seller support, if you have to work with them, do the flat file, obviously. That's always going to be first. But the reason you do the flat file is because when you're doing a flat file, Amazon wants to see you try and make something work before they will do anything, even lift a finger. So you do the flat file to be able to tell them that you tried to do it and you can't. Now they're telling you, hey, we still can't do it. Take a picture of the physical product, just with your, pull your phone out, put it on a desk, take a picture of it, of the physical product with the actual product packaging in there, and it has to have the brand name you are trying to change to on the product packaging visible. I don't know if I don't know if I have a picture of this, but yeah, it's essentially you want to have that brand name on the packaging. Can't be just like taped on there or anything. Has to be a stamp or a sticker of some kind on the product packaging, very visible with the product there. That's going to be your most surefire way. If you have UPC in that picture as well, that's even better because that's going to show Amazon that essentially this UPC attached to this ASIN you can see in this picture is supposed to be this brand name that we are trying to change to. That's the best way to do it. That's, usually a surefire way to get it done. So hopefully that helps. Give it a shot. If you you will probably still run into issues. Just be consistent with it and always go through brand registry for it. All right. This might be our last one here, guys. Josh, happy Friday. No, happy Friday, sir. My client is brand registry, but their product was added before brand registry and is showing as generic. Can't make edits. It's his product. How can we make change? Exact same thing I just explained. So it's same thing. Change the brand name. To do this, take a picture of product, slap it on there with the label. Make sure UPC's there. That's going to be your best way. That is absolutely the best way to handle this situation. Can't make edits. Little worried about that because that sounds like currently he is not being considered as the brand owner. That's going to be running into some issues. I would question if it's a hijacker situation there, but absolutely here. Your biggest thing is going to be getting that away from generic and onto his brand name. And then from there, once you have brand name, you're going to have to work with Amazon on being the primary contributor and showing Amazon that you own this listing, you own this product for the actual edits. So twofold here instead of the last one where it was just the brand name change. This one focus on the brand name change and then also focus on the edit side and being the primary contributor on the product. One will be seller support for the edits and then brand registry for the brand name change. So hope that helps. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe will be our last question today. Just to kind of wrap up here for you guys. Really great questions today. Honestly, this was a lot of different questions. Also a lot of the same questions this week. It seems like everyone kind of runs in the same issues and areas consistently. So just to wrap up here, guys, if you don't already know, we are My Amazon Guy. We are a full service Amazon agency. If you are looking for PPC, design, full service account management, whatever it is, we can probably help you out a little bit. So feel free to check us out. If you are looking for a job, trying to get into the Amazon space, We're always hiring. We also have paid internships. If you don't even know anything about Amazon, feel free to apply. We're hiring for brand managers, account specialists, so on and so forth. So feel free to apply. Check us out. On top of that, if you liked this Q&A and you have a question you want to dive deeper on at some point in time and you really just want handled, right? We do one-on-one coaching. I'm on here as well. You can get one-on-one time with me, as well as Kristen and Steven as well. So take some time, do some one-on-one with us. I'm happy to jump on with you guys. Past that, we also sell all of our SOPs. Check them out. Free plug. So that is all for today, everyone. It was great Friday Q&A, and I will see you guys all next week at 12 Eastern. I'll be back, and we'll do this all over again. Thanks, everybody.